what a Saturday was in the Big 12, Mason. OU not out of the Big 12 title race. What are you seeing for the future for the Sooners going forward?
It's so crazy how quickly a narrative can change, really just in the matter of 1 week. We talked about, I think you briefly referenced all the criticism that Jeff Lebby had this week, but tonight he called and executed a game plan masterfully. No apparent lapses of decision-making in key situations. The offense, other than, one drive aside where they had to settle for a field goal, it really felt like that they had their foot on West Virginia's throat the entirety of the game for the most part. And what that means moving forward for OU obviously is huge, getting their offense back together and playing at the super high level that they want to. But you look around the Big 12, Oklahoma State lost today, Kansas lost today. That was what you had to have, and now we're looking at it, and OU is firmly back in the Big 12 championship game race. In fact, by the looks of it, all they have to do is win out, and they're in. So it will be very fascinating to continue to monitor throughout that week, throughout the next couple weeks. Obviously, if Texas loses, then it starts to get kind of hairy. But right now, OU is actually back in the driver's seat because, as Eric and I talked about with some other people in the press box and having kind of looked over some of the rules, tiebreakers don't count when teams have the same record. And so, now that Kansas Kansas State hasn't played both OU and OSU, so you need Kansas State to beat Kansas at the end of the season. That's next week actually, and that could be where OU gets in some trouble if Kansas State doesn't win that game. But as long as Kansas State wins out and Oklahoma State wins out, then OU wins out. They're gonna have the tiebreaker to go play Texas, assuming Texas wins out as well. So OU's obviously got a very big game coming up. It's been announced 11 a.m. in Provo next week against BYU, and it's going to be a dogfight. I'm sure, just like anybody else that OU's played this year, BYU would love nothing more than to ruin that Big 12 championship game shot for them.